Hi friends, it's Melanie with fairystampland.com. I'm here today with a little coloring video. I thought I'd do some coloring with this image and some Spellbinders dies that I thought I would design with. I went ahead and cut this out from this center die here. And I'm using this as a design idea. I always choose my dies before I design, thinking that this is going to be the border die. And I've already chosen my papers for this project. So I go by choosing my papers, I choose my dies, and then I color my image. And this allows me to coordinate my coloring to coordinate with the rest of my project. And that's how I just view things in design. The die set that I'm using is the Fluted Classic Squares by Spellbinders Amazing Paper Grace line. And it just is a very elegant die set. It comes with a lot of different layers. And I'm excited to get to play with this one today. So we'll set that aside and we'll start coloring this little young lady. I will put all the information about where to get this digital image in the description below so that you can get her. She's downloadable on Etsy. And I am using Copic Express-It paper. I find that it's the best paper to both color as well as print my digital images on. It runs through printers very nicely. It also doesn't smudge or smear when you're coloring. So I'm just putting a basic layer of E000 down right now, leaving a highlight in the center. This does not have to be an exact science here because we're going to be doing lots of layering. So I'm just getting a basic rough amount, you know, of Copics like to blend when the paper's moist. So just getting some ink down on the paper helps with that. And actually, if you're a beginner, it's probably best to just stop right there and start with just doing the face and doing smaller sections. I'm going in with E00, and I'm just going to shadow in some shadows where her hair is leaving some shadows around her face. Face is round, so whenever you have an object that's round, you're always going to have some shadows along the side, but then the hair itself is also going to leave shadows. Her nose is going to leave some shadows, and her mouth is going to leave some shadows also. So this is pretty much just mapping out where I want my shadows to lie. Then I'm going to go in with E11, which is my darkest marker. And I'm going to be very sparing with this because it is my darkest marker. And I'm going to go in with just the tip of the marker. And I'm going to go in and give a cast shadow here. We are going to blend this out, so if you get a little heavy-handed, it's okay. This takes practice. And you may not want to do these little tiny pieces. But as you practice, it does get easier. Okay, I'll probably put a little bit under her lips too. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm going to go now in with E21, which is just going to be a little lighter. It kind of looks a little orange, and that's okay. I'm just going to drag out that E11 that I just laid down. I'm just dragging it to the center, real light strokes. You'll have to forgive my voice and everything. I'm getting over a little head cold. I'm at the very tail end of it. So I got a little bit of sniffles. It's okay if this looks dark right now. I always tell people that your skin is going to look really dark until you get the rest of it in there, until you get all your rest of your colors in. Okay, so that was E21. Now I'm going to go back down to E00, and we're going to pull that out a little more. And this is where your blending begins to show. You're feathering it. You're just lightly, I got a little drop. Oh, that's just a, you're just literally flicking motion with the tip of the marker. And that's the beauty of Copics, is the way their tips are. You're just flicking. Always going towards the center where the highlight is. And then you're going to go to your lightest, which is E000. And you're going to flick a little harder this time because you're going to go towards the center even more. Okay, now as you do this, you're going to see something called desaturation. It gets a little blotchy, a little bleachy. And there's an easy way to fix it. Some people will want to stop right here. And if you don't mind that bleachiness, you can. I don't know if you can see it very well in the camera. I cannot see the camera, so I'm hoping you can see that. But the easy way around this is to just go back in and do a second layer. This is the E11. I like to do the E11 at least anyways, because it gets lost in all the contrast, or so if nothing else, go back in and do just the E11, and that just brings it to life. E21. E00. And E000. Now this paper is really wet right now, so we're going to let it dry here. And that will even out as it dries. I'm also going to haven't given this little area down here as much love. This is R20. and 000. Just blends that back out. Okay. You can also take your your R20 and give her some lip color too. Okay, so yes, that looks a little dark, but once you add her hair, which we are going to use E30s for, we will do E30, 31, and 34. Then she will lighten up here. Now, when you're doing hair, I like to try to go in the direction of the hair. This is just a light coat, just like I did with the skin. I'm not covering it completely. I'm leaving strands in between that are not. And here on this big area, I'm going to leave a highlight again, just like I did with her face, an area that isn't colored. But right now I'm just laying down that light color just to, this also helps me because it helps me see where all the hair is. By going in here, I can kind of find it, and that way I don't, you know, when it's mixed in with all these flowers, you know, I don't want to miss it. Sometimes, you know, there's more down here, and, you know, this image doesn't have a whole lot, but sometimes it's all tangled up, and it helps me to see where I'm going with my hair. Okay. So now I start at the part, because it's going to be darker at the part, and I'm going to come down in like little streaks. You want to leave room for your other colors. So I try to leave, you know, I want some of the dark or some of that light to be still showing. So I look for areas that's going to be darker, you know, in the folds of the hair. It's going to be darker. It's also going to be a little bit darker on the tips. Where one hair folds in front of the other, the back, what's underneath will be darker. It's okay to make your own extra line. If you see there's an area that needs an extra little hairline, you can draw it in. Alrighty, let's go one darker. Move those dots out of the way. That part's always going to be darker because it's in between. It's going down like that, so there's always going to be a shadow there. kind of got a shadow here because of the face behind, it's behind the neck. I mean, behind the head. Okay, I think that's good. I might go up, I might come down this one, go back behind here. Okay. And then if you like how much highlight there is there, you can leave it. If you want to close it in just a little bit more, you can come with your lighter and do just a little, you know, I'm still not covering it all, but just a little whisk of that lighter one, just to kind of blend through. So there she is, her face and her skin for her face and her hair. So let's see, I will go ahead and do her dress also in this quick little video. We'll go ahead and do it blue. Normally I would have her skin already done, but for the video purposes, I thought I would go ahead and... Now with folds, I'm not the queen of folds, let me tell you. Folds are tricky, but you do have where it tucks in here. So you're going to have lighter here, you're going to have darker behind. And like each one of these, there's darker, 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 darker with each ruffle. So it's just something to think about. It's challenging, but it's just something to think about when you're coloring. Now this is the lightest marker, so you don't have to think too hard on this one. But I am not the best in the world at coloring clothes. I do need to take an extra class on clothes. Right now I'm just getting some color down. Getting in between this dragonfly. I probably will not do much blending in here. Okay, so I got a base coat down. Now, let me go in with my medium marker and show you where these darker areas are. It's going to be like right in here. It's going to be along this crease line on the left-hand side. Here, this one's rolling over here, so it's going to be on this. It's going to be like in this area. It's going to be really hard to see because of the dragonfly there. And then, of course, you're going to have a little bit because of that bow there that is going to be there. So that would be your normal, and of course, because your wing here, you're going to have some shadows here, and you're going to have shadows here. So like I said, this is going to be a little tricky because of his wings. So I may end up ruining this, but let's just see what happens here. This is the medium, so we can lighten it. So let's see. And actually, the edge of this would also have a little, because it's the end of her clothes here, so it's curling around. So let's put a little dark higher too. Okay, so that's just using the medium, just as an example. So I'm going to go back down to light again, and we're just going to see what this happens when we blend this out a little bit. So like I said, with this Dragonfly, we don't have a lot of room to work with. Like in here, there's just not a whole lot of room to work with, so I think we're going to just leave it be at that. Okay, so actually, it's actually not looking too bad. We should have gone over on the wings there. Just fill this one in. When I'm dragging this and blending this, I'm trying not to go all the way to the edge because of that highlight that's down there. I'm trying to preserve a little of it. Sometimes it's hard because you might have some harsh lines that you're trying to get rid of. But sometimes if you just leave it alone a little bit, it will, as it dries, it'll heal, I guess is the best way to put it. And the preserving will settle down and it'll actually look okay. Okay. So now at this point, I want to let that dry a little bit. I'll go ahead and do her skin real quick while we're letting that dry just a little bit. Just dribble, yeah. Oh, actually, there's a piece of that dress right there on the front, too. I didn't see that. Wrong color. Okay, let's look at this dress here a little bit now. Now you have the option to go back in with your darker marker. And you can go in here now and add a cast shadow to these deep areas where these creases are. And it really can make a big difference. Okay, I think I'm just going to leave it as is, like that. Now for the rest of the video, I think I'll just do speed coloring and finish up the flowers. All right. Okay, here we go. We are done with our coloring. And for the flowers, the leaves, and the dragonflies, I used, for the flowers, V01 and 04. For the leaves, YG11 and YG13. And for the yellow centers of the of the flowers, I used Y03. And for the dragonfly feathers or wings, I used Y00 and Y02. And for her eyes, I used two of the colors that were in her dress, which were B21 and B24. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will try to finish up the video showing you the final card using these Spellbinders fluted classic squares, which is part of the Amazing Paper Grace line from Spellbinders. It's a beautiful die set, and I look forward to designing with it here shortly. I appreciate your time. Have a great day. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back. I just wanted to let you know that I ended up changing my card paper ideas. Same paper pack, but I chose a couple other colors because this pink color was just, it just matched the purple so well. So I changed the paper and I added a couple extra Spellbinders dies, which I thought really turned out well. Here are a couple image shots of the finished card. I thought you'd like to see it, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a thumbs up, and I hope you will consider subscribing. Have a great day. Till next time.